Well, hello folks, it's Mike here. I just want to welcome you back to Mr. Cast Iron. And today for our question of the day, we're going to talk about cast iron skillet wobble. The dreaded cast iron skillet wobble. Well, Eric, as you can see here, asked a question. He said, my cast iron skillet wobbles from the very middle. Is this intentionally made this way or deformed? It says Wagner O, and it's the first cast iron I've had. So, folks, let's talk about that for just a minute. If my cast iron is warped, is it ruined? No, it's not ruined, but it's up to you to check that. Like if you go to, as I do, yard sales or flea markets or Goodwill or wherever you source cast iron, Facebook Marketplace or whatever, but you got to really be careful with places like eBay and Facebook Marketplace unless you're actually able to check it. And what you want to do, of course, I've got my number 8 3/0 Lodge. This is one of my favorite skillets. I really like this skillet. It's a great size. But what you want to do, if you're able to do this, be sure and take your cast iron skillet that you're looking at buying, lay it on a table or the sidewalk or something flat, and grab it by both sides and just kind of wiggle it like that all the way around on the flat surface to make sure that it doesn't have any wobble in it. So, if it does, then the cast iron has probably gotten too hot or something like that, and it's been warped. So you got to really be careful with heat, and we talk about that a lot on here. Cast iron is not, it can take a lot. It can take a lot of, abuse in certain ways, but heat sometimes can cause a cast iron skillet to warp if you're way too high for too long or whatever. So that's one thing I'm very careful to say, be careful about throwing a cast iron skillet on top of a fire. A lot of people say, just throw it on the fire and burn it off to season it. Well, it's okay as long as you're not on the direct fire, but if you're off to the side or whatever and you heat it up, you're able to do that. But we're not talking about that today. That will help, can cause it to wobble and warp. So you got to be careful about that if you're out on a fire or fire pit or something like that. Is it ruined? No, it's not. But it may cause a problem if you're using like say an electric stove that has just the burner eyes on it, or if it's a glass top stove. That's where you'll notice it probably more so than anywhere else, because the glass top, when you put the skillet on there, you will see or feel a little bit of wobble. Sometimes it may even spin. Some people call cast iron skillet spinners, and that's what they're talking about when you hear that. Now, if you're on like a gas stove like I use, you've got the grill grate on top, the burner grate on top of your fire, and so it'll set without any problems like that. But like I said, the things that you want to look for, be sure when you're looking to source a piece of skillet or a piece of cast iron for your collection, be sure and check the wobble. Make sure that it's not spinning or wobbling when you set it on the concrete or on some flat surface. Another way to do that is, if you have the ability to do so, pour a little bit of water in it and see if it pulls up right in the middle. Mine has just a little small indentation right here in the middle, so when I pour oil in here to cook, it'll go toward the middle. So if that's not a problem for you, then it's not a big problem, so don't worry about it. Another thing too, on your older skillets, he says here that the skillet that he has says Wagner. It's a Wagner skillet. So like this Lodge has a heat ring. It has this heat ring here, and the heat ring itself may actually be a little out of round or something like that. That could be the problem. It may not necessarily be the inside of the skillet. It may actually be the heat ring. So check those things too. And so just be careful, like I say, when you're sourcing your skillets from flea markets, yard sales, Goodwill, wherever like that. you know, just be sure and check it and everything, and you'll be fine. So Eric, I hope this has helped you. I hope this answered your question. Your skillet is fine. If you don't mind it and you want to use it, you can use it. It kind of hinders the resale value if you go to try to sell something, like it being an older Wagner, as you mentioned here. You know, that someone that's very knowledgeable is going to notice that. So you know, it's not ruined. You can certainly use it. A lot of people have warped skillets and stuff like that that are users. And anyway, we hope that's been helpful, folks. We love your questions, and you know, we look forward to them. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, hit a thumbs up, because that certainly helps our channel. And we're going to get back and try to answer a few more questions here shortly. So you guys have a great day. Now, it's Mike over here at Mr. Cast Iron. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.